Philosopher Seana Shiffrin said, "We all have a basis on which to sue our biological parents, because procreation is not a morally innocent endeavor." What I will show you in this video is how she makes the case for such an uncommon view.
What the heck?
Look, I'm not suggesting that she is right. This is an exercise in philosophical thinking. If you disagree with her conclusion, this is a great opportunity for you to try to come up with objections to her view. When someone is born, they necessarily experience both good and bad things. There is nobody who only experiences good things. Even minor things like the pain of suffering a cold, getting rejected, or fear of death are definitely bad. Similarly, everyone experiences some degree of happiness at some point in life. So there is no life that is 100% bad. So we can agree, when parents decide to give birth to a child and give him or her life, there are both benefit and harm involved. Now, on the side of philosophers that think parents are not morally blameworthy, there is Feinberg. He said, holding your parents responsible for giving you life is like holding someone responsible for injuries he caused while saving you from greater danger. The harm of the injuries was offset by the overriding benefit of the rescue. The overall result of the rescue was beneficial to the rescuee. Similarly, life is overall worthwhile, and so the benefits offset the burdens of life. Therefore, parents can't be held liable by their children for giving them life. Shiffrin said, "Okay, there are two ways to interpret Feinberg's argument, and I'm here to refute them both." The first interpretation starts with harm and benefit representing two ends of a symmetrical scale, like with positive and negative numbers. There are 2 points to compare here. The first is the point representing the state someone would be at if the event had not happened. For example, if the rescuer had not saved the person in danger, that person would be very seriously injured. Let's say that's here. The other point is the yes event point, meaning the state the person would be at after the event. In this case, the person is safe at the hospital with some minor injuries, so say that's somewhere around here. Since the yes event point is to the right of the no event point, the person has been benefited. Shiffrin says there are some problems with this model. First, this model results in either harm or benefit. In reality, someone could be both benefited and harmed through an event. If I get you a really nice gift, but the way I give it to you is by throwing it at you and causing you pain, I have definitely both benefited and harmed you. Also, the model views harm and benefit to be symmetrical, as if harm is just like benefit but bad, and vice versa. This is also not accurate, Shiffrin says. In reality, we don't take not being benefited as seriously as being harmed or not being saved from harm. And even though small harm does not get offset by overall benefit, as the throwing gift example showed, small benefit does actually get shadowed by overall harm. If I deliberately burn down your house and in doing so gets rid of this furniture that was too heavy for you to remove, it's still difficult to say that I've both harmed and benefited you. What do you think? Are harm and benefit just negatives of each other? Or are they two distinct things that can't always offset the other? Another interpretation of Feinberg's argument is, okay, so maybe there was also some harm. But the person who got rescued shouldn't complain about that harm, since it was necessary for the provision of outweighing benefits. I mean, could you ask the person who rescued you to pay for your medical bills for small injury? To this, Shiffrin says, No, of course not. I wouldn't ask my rescuer for anything. I mean, he prevented greater harm from falling upon me. But procreation is not an analogous situation. With procreation, the parents harm not to prevent bigger harm, but to give pure benefits. And this is far less justifiable, consistent with the asymmetry of harm and benefit. And she gives this really fun example. Imagine a rich person who lives on an island. Let's call him Wealthy. Wealthy made cubes of gold that are worth millions of dollars. Now, for whatever reason, he wants these to go to a middle class, comfortably off people in this neighborhood. But due to, say, I don't know, a global pandemic, he can't just go there and hand it out to them. So he flies in his private jet and throws them from the air, knowing that there is a chance that people will get hit by it and get hurt. When the cubes fall, most people are delighted to find cubes of gold. Yeah! But one unlucky person is hit by one. Ow! Let's call him Unlucky. The incident breaks Unlucky's arm. But even if it hadn't landed on Unlucky's arm, it would have landed on someone else's foot. I know. A lot of you are saying, I would love that to happen to me. An arm will get fixed, but millions of dollars? Wow! Sure, Unlucky's life may overall be better off because of all the money. But he could at the same time be unsure if he would have consented to it had he been told beforehand. Because of the pain and horror of having something fall upon you from the sky. In this case, unlike with the rescue, Wealthy should at least sincerely apologize to Unlucky, right? And if Unlucky asks for compensation for his broken arm, Wealthy should provide that, even though the benefit could not have been conferred without imposing the risk of injury. Wealthy can still reasonably be held liable for causing such an injury without consent. I was actually reminded of this Korean movie, Veteran. A really rich man beats up an ordinary guy and then pays him a lot for it.
어이가 없네.
Here, this is more obviously morally wrong because you don't have to beat someone up to give them money. But the bottom line is, giving someone pure benefits doesn't shield you from the liabilities of also harming that person. Shiffrin goes even further to argue that procreation is even less justifiable than what Wealthy did. Why is that? If Wealthy doesn't drop the golden cubes, Unlucky's life will be worse off than if Wealthy had dropped them. Because he's missing out on all the money. This gives some sort of defense for Wealthy dropping the cubes. But if the potential parents do not procreate, is there any existing child who is worse off because of it? No. The potential beneficiary is a non-existent person. Procreation is, in this way, even less defensible than Wealthy's gold dropping. Now, I couldn't cover all her arguments and nuances in this video, but let's wrap it up. Shiffrin concludes that all children theoretically have a basis on which to hold their parents responsible for the harmful results of their procreation. She also adds that she's not claiming that procreation is always, all things considered, wrong, but rather that it, quote, involves a non-consensual imposition of significant burdens, end quote, and is therefore, quote, morally problematic, end quote. What I want to know now is what you all think. Which argument was least convincing and why? I also highly encourage you to share this video with people around you and have a philosophical discussion. And also, don't forget to have a philosophical week. Bye!